Welcome to Here Where You Belong, your go-to podcast for exploring belonging with your host and belonging expert, Dia Irby. We are thrilled to have you join us. Together, we'll dive into the depths of what it means for each of us to find our own place in the world, whether it's within our communities, our relationships, or within ourselves. Today's episode is meant to inspire, uplift, and remind you that no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. So grab a cozy spot and settle in. Welcome to Here Where You Belong.
Hello, awesome belongers. Welcome home to Here Where You Belong podcast. I have someone amazing for you to meet today who has a heart as big as his network and believes strangers are just friends he hasn't connected with yet. I'm Dia Irby, your host. Get ready to be inspired and blessed. Welcome, Phil the Connector Herrington. Hey, Phil.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so glad to have you here. Here's a bit more about our guest. Phil the Connector is the founder and host of the Connector community, and we're going to talk about that. He's the friendly face behind the Meet the Connector interview series, where he chats with all sorts of interesting folks about their businesses and passions. He's passionate about helping people network and grow their businesses. He's known for bringing people together and making introductions. He leads a growing community, almost at 200 members. I think he's past 200 members since he sent that information. He encourages referrals with a 3 gets you free policy. Ooh, we're going to hear about that too. Phil's all about connecting folks and helping them succeed in business who doesn't want to succeed in business. He has built a community that's all about networking and supporting each other. Wow. Welcome, Phil. I think we are like-minded in the need to build community and feel like we belong.
Yes, most definitely. Thanks for having me.
Yes. And did I leave out anything you want to add to that, or maybe update anything?
No, that's all about right.
Okay, great. Well, tell us, you are the connector, Phil the connector. Did you just get a branding specialist to tell you that you should do that, or how did you come up with and
Well,
why
you know what? We
with
were
that?
talking about it right before this, and I'll just tell the story real quick. I went to a men's retreat, and one of the ideas or one of the sessions there was to figure out what the world has named you. So you make this long list of all the things that everyone's ever called you. Some not so good, but and then you burn those, and then you wait to see what God has called you. And one of them was actually the connector. And so I come back and I'm just getting ready to order business cards for a company I was with at the time. And I said, it was 2018. And I said, hey, let's put Phil the Connector on my cards from now on. And so then I went through maybe 3 or 4 other companies since I started the community, but I was always Phil the Connector with each one of them. So unbeknownst to me, I was building a brand of Phil the Connector over the last 6 years, but we had not put it all together into like its own community until just about 7 months ago.
Wow, 7 months. So why do you think Phil the Connector, that name was given to you? And yay for burning up all the
Yeah,
ones you don't want to claim or have.
exactly right. um, just because my joy comes from putting 2 people together that, and I see them do business together. Gosh, there's so many. When I first started this, I didn't really know what I was doing. I would meet with people. My first year of kind of networking, I think we accidentally sold 70 websites. I worked for a website company because we did so many one-to-ones. right? So I'd literally be sitting at a coffee shop, and every hour on the hour, someone would be coming in and meeting. So I started to see my brain works in patterns and systems. And so what I didn't realize is I was building power teams very quickly. I was like, oh, you're in health and wellness. You need to meet these other 7 people who are in health and wellness. And I was speeding up people's networking by making those introductions.
Mm.
So my real joy came from every time I would do one of those text connections and I saw them go back and forth and set their meeting, right? And over the years, now I've done 5,000 one-to-ones in the last 6 years. I'm looking for systems, and I like to speed things up. So how can we make it faster? And how can we make that connection part faster, right? And so all we've really done here at the connector community is eliminated the meeting. We've taken the meeting out. So you're basically hiring us to do all your networking for you, not all of it, but a lot of your networking for you, because we'll meet people you'll never meet. And here we say, we build the network, you build the relationships, right? And so we'll bring them in, and then you just go in and do your one-to-ones and build out those relationships that make sense. And so, yeah.
You don't go to this meeting and take your business cards and see how many you can throw in the faces of the people.
Yep. Yep.
That's
So
networking.
exactly. That's what they do at the Chamber of Commerce, right?
Right. Or some BNI or whatever the networking meeting is. You throw your
Right.
business card, and that's why does that not work? And what you do works.
Oh, great question. So I'm very strategic about, now that I've done it long enough, of placing you with, think of me as like a business matchmaker. So I'm
I
not
was
only
just,
matching
the song
everything.
from Matchmaker, that's been running through my mind. Thank you for using that word. Yes, you are a business matchmaker.
So I'm looking for like the personality and the business, right? I'll be thinking through, would that person be open to meeting with that person? I know they're maybe like their beliefs or their whatever, right? And so because we know them so well, we can make those good strategic partnerships.
Mm.
And usually now that I've been doing it long enough, I'm pretty spot on, right? Now what we're trying to do is figure out how do we scale my brain, my gut instinct, right? So how do we do that? So we have some ideas. We're gonna when you come into the community, you're gonna tell us the 3 industries in the history of you networking or whatever have really been good power partners for you, and then we're going to start to introduce you to the other people in the network that are in those industries. So I really feel like the industry is going to work, because usually, let's say you're a real estate agent. I'll take that one, right? So you're a real estate agent where you're at. You probably want to meet mortgage people, other real estate agents that maybe don't specify in what you do. You want to meet financial people, credit repair people, all that stuff. So all the people in that circle, and they're going to feed you leads on a regular if you build that relationship. So,
That's great. So you mentioned that you really know the person.
mhm.
How?
Oh, great question. So when they come into our community, these are some of the relationships I built over the years, and they help me get this thing started. But some, as they come into the community, the way we get to know them is we do their onboarding, ask them a lot of things about I want them to pitch me, tell me everything about what you do, try to sell me basically, because I want to get to the heart of what you're looking for. And then I'll know, be it by the other people in the community, who they're selling to, and then we're looking to like connect those people together. So if you're going to go after, how do I say it, you're going after the same ideal customer but selling a different product, so you can collaborate very easily, and there's no competition.
Right.
So
Like a kitchen remodeler and a flooring person.
they're not in
Yeah.
competition, but they're
The,
dealing with the same
the
client.
cabinet
Exactly.
people and the floor people, they're both
Yes.
working on the kitchen.
Yep. Most definitely.
So
Most
that
definitely.
would be a challenge. It seems like you're very gifted to be able to assess a person, all the person, and not just their business card title.
Yep.
How can you clone yourself?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna, eventually what we'll do is we will come up with an application process, because we know as we get bigger, we're not gonna be able to meet everybody. And so what we're looking for is people that put people before profits. and people that want to collaborate and they want to help each other grow. So I've already kind of thought about it. Like it'll be some simple questions like, what have you done in your the lifetime of your business or something like that in the last couple of years that didn't benefit you at all, but benefited someone else, right? Or like, how did you put yourself in a situation where you helped somebody, but it didn't benefit you? Right. And so that's going to be a great question because if people can answer that, then whatever, no, one, they're real people and they're people that are, we're not going to get any bots and things like that in here. Right. So I think we're really onto something because even as AI grows and all that stuff, and I know some people are afraid of it or love it or embrace it or whatever, but as that grows, people still need to meet real people. And so real people meeting real people, I think is going to be super huge.
That should be one of your taglines.
Yeah, we have a couple that we play with, which is we build the network, you build the relationships.
Yeah.
You're one connection away, which I really like that one. But I think you're right too, real people meeting real people. Maybe we play that into we could probably use them all in our marketing somehow.
Oh, sure, sure. Because the more digital we get,
Hmm.
the more removed. Even right now, having this conversation with you, of course, you're in Idaho and I'm in North
Yeah,
Carolina, and we
yeah.
can have this conversation. And I like to connect with people as real as I can, but I can't shake your hand.
I know, I know. And if
So
we were, you're
people
right,
really
being in the
need
coffee shop.
people.
Yep, yeah.
Um, Also, what do you take into account maybe personality types like the disc profile, are they a high D, a
Ooh.
high I, a high S, or a high C? You
You
know,
know what? We probably should implement something like that in the future. But right now, where I'm not it again, it's all me. So I'm like going,
what
I
you
just know that
probably
person would meet that. I'm probably doing it. I just don't know that I'm doing it.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are instinctively and guttifiedly.
Yes.
Did I just make up that word? Yes, you're doing it because you are matching personality styles.
Mhm.
And like an I working with a C just is going to be challenging.
Is it okay?
Yes. An I is very, ooh, let's have a good time. I want to, how's your mother? And da 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 da. And a C is, what is the answer? We're going to put this on here and we're going to, what are the numbers? I want
Yeah.
to, we need all the kinds of people.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Now that you say it that way, though, I will say some people are coming into our network that are afraid to meet people. So they'll have amazing products and amazing services, but they're so afraid to talk to people. And then we have another service where we actually put those people on their calendar for them. So now they just got to show up to the meeting. So they're usually the people that build amazing programs and things like that, and they're IT type people, but they're not so good with the communication side. But now we're kind of forcing them to do that. So they know it's important, but they're just like maybe don't want to go to a meeting or they don't want to put themselves out there. Now I can go, okay, I trust Phil to put me in with the right person.
That's
So
wonderful. One of the areas that I focus on is emotional intelligence
hmm
and the social skills of being emotionally intelligent are wow, so much has happened in our world that people
hmm
don't have social skills or don't
hmm
have a way to improve on it or discover them. And they don't know how to have the conversations. This is fabulous. You are pushing people beyond their limits to help them grow in their emotional intelligence. And they're finding that emotional intelligence is more valuable in the workplace than your intelligence quotient, your IQ.
Okay.
You can be smart all day long, but until you feel the connector and are able to connect with somebody to share your fabulous program, it doesn't
Yes.
help that you have all that.
Yeah, and we really live by this. Someone was asking me like, why is a connector community here and what's it for and all that stuff. And I really love Grant Cardone. He says it the best way. He says most businesses go out of business simply because not enough people know what they do fast enough. And it's the fast enough that kills you, because you can have a great idea and you can get out there and you can start to meet some people and start to get yourself advertised and stuff like that. And you can eat up all your funds and go out of business, right? That's why 80% of businesses go out of business within 5 years. But if I can put you in a room, or a virtual room in this case, and you can meet a ton of people that want to help you collaborate, want to help you introduce to other people, then you can grow exponentially fast. And that's our goal, is to make that happen.
So you have searched and there's nothing like you out there.
I have not, because I'm not a researcher. And so, but I can just tell you from everyone that I do these one-to-ones with, which now since we started, we're probably I'm doing 100 a month. So what is that? About 700 one-to-ones since we started. But all the other ones, that people are seeing this program and going, holy crud, this is crazy. And that's why we have 200 members. I mean, they're just like jumping on board. They're like, I think a lot of people are just curious to see what's going to happen too. They're like, this is so interesting. It's different. It's not taking any time from me, so I might as well jump in, and then I can make a couple connections. You know what I mean? Like there's some of them are a little timid, but still they want to kind of see where it's going to go. So
6 years you've been growing this idea and this passion.
yes.
7 months ago is when you officially launched the connector community.
Yes. And I distinctly remember, that's correct. And that's when we launched, but it was maybe like a month before that. I was like, we're formulating the idea. And we're like, so how do we monetize this Fill the Connector? We've been doing it forever. How do we do that? So I asked this question. I didn't know what to call it, but I asked to 7 people. I said, if I opened up my Rolodex to you in some way, would you pay for that? And when 5 people said yes out of 7, we went and built it. 2 weeks later, we came back and said, we need your credit card. And all 5 of those people joined, and then we just took off from there. And
so how much does it cost?
Yeah, so we're currently at $57 a month, but it's a sliding scale. What I mean by that is, as the network gets larger, we move the price up, and but we have people come in at their lifetime locked in price. So the people who are my founders, they're paying $27 a month, and they'll never pay any more. So
it makes sense to have it cost more, because you have more available
opportunity. Yeah,
it's worth more.
And it's really worked well for us to get people to come in and get that lifetime locked in price, and know that if we go to $300 a month or whatever we end up at, you'll always have that 57.
Great.
And then I say, the very first thing we want to do is get you a free account. So we have 3 get you free. So I'm a big believer in giving back. So the way we give back is we do 33% residual income. So if you bring somebody into the network, and just like Michael Whitehouse introduced us, if you decided to join, he'd get a percentage, the 33% of your membership. And so if he gets enough of those, then now he's not paying for his membership.
This is so fabulous. There is so much here, Phil, the connector, and I know we can talk forever, but we're gonna take a break here, and we'll be right back with Phil the Connector in just a minute. See you then. Hey there! Isn't my guest amazing? So glad you joined us today. In this world that often feels disconnected, building community and fostering belonging are essential. That's why I created this podcast, to bring inspiring people to you, to encourage you to create that sense of belonging and community, no matter where you are. If you're being blessed by my guest, and we have some more, like, subscribe, and share this podcast. You know who needs to hear this. Stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember, you belong. Now, back to our amazing guest. And we're back with Phil the Connector Herrington on Here Where You Belong podcast. And Phil is the connector. We are so aligned in the importance of creating community, and he's done a great job. But on this side, I always like to ask my guest, what is your favorite quote?
Oh, always have been, So the first time I read it was, "You have not because you ask not." It's a Bible verse, and I love it because so many people are afraid to ask, and you get so many crazy things if you just ask. People can say no, right? But if you ask, that's my favorite.
You'll say yes. If you don't ask, you already have a no.
You already have the no, exactly. So,
So that is, I love that. And especially in the business world and when you're connecting with people. Do
yep.
you have any stories about someone that maybe you've helped, or maybe it's a story for yourself about they didn't ask, and then they did, and it was a good story. It had a good ending.
Um, Maybe I'll go with we'll say about follow up, because that's an ask, right? And
Yeah.
so we set up some automation in another business I was in, and we would just ask, and this is how dumb you can be with your marketing. We literally said, "Are you ready to start with us?" She received this text from us every month for 2 years, and then she said, "Okay, I'm ready to give you my money." It's just funny to me because I'm like, of course, but people don't follow up, right? They don't follow up with their connections, they don't follow up with their sales, they don't follow up. So if you just do that with the ask, and it's a very simple ask, are you ready? Did you still want it? Did you want to move forward? So we have a big belief in never let that prospect go unless they want to go. So they opt out. So never let them go.
The fortune is in the follow up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great illustration. In the business world, you have to have a call to action.
Mm-hmm.
And people want that. You give them information or you present your product to them. They want to know what to do with all that. So
Mm-hmm.
are you ready to take the next step? It doesn't,
Yeah.
they're going to climb Mount Everest. It might mean that they're going to start spending 30 minutes on a treadmill. I mean,
Right.
what is the next step? And just asking for that next step. That's a really good one. And it's good to remind yourself to, you know what? Look around. What is it you don't have? Did you ask for it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've heard, thinking about prayers and how I had a situation where I finally asked God something for something specifically. Well, actually, it was like, God, we need some bread. And the next day, a loaf of bread was in my mailbox. No kidding. There's a whole big backstory. But it should have come as a gift a couple of months earlier. But I didn't ask, and God was waiting for me to ask.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
And so I think, maybe if we get to heaven and God's showing us around and he shows us the mansion he's built us there, and there's all these presents wrapped up there, and it's like, what is all this? Oh, those are the answers to all the prayers you didn't ask.
Oh, dang. Oops.
You have not because you asked not. So yeah, I mean, it's not like he doesn't want to answer, or you when you are conscious of asking for something, then you start seeing it also, because what
Yeah.
you focus on expands.
Yeah. And a fun one that everybody can use. Uh, when you're at the register, just ask the cashier, is there any discounts I should be aware of?
Perfect.
Is there any discounts or coupons I should be aware of? I can't tell you how many times that person has gone, well, yeah, you don't need the coupon. 15% off. 20% off. A free blah blah blah. A blah blah blah. Just because I asked.
That is maybe
That's
the
good.
takeaway from
That
our
might be the takeaway right there. Everybody can use that.
everybody can use that all day long. Oh yes. Is there a discount I should be aware of?
Just
Uh,
ask it. It's fun. It's easy. It's light. It makes their day because then they go, oh, can I help this person? They instantly want to help you. It's crazy.
And it makes people feel good when they can help people.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
you've connected them with themselves as well. It would be interesting to tally some way, make a note on your phone, how much savings in, say, a month that you have made by asking.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to think on that call to action.
Right? I love it.
Okay, so another question I ask is, what do you consider as your greatest accomplishment? I mean, I'm sure you've got lots of things, but
Sure.
uh, ah,
Well, I would say, my greatest accomplishment really is I have 5 kids, and my youngest is 20, and every single one of them, we had them have a business, and it all happened to be on eBay because eBay was the thing back then. We all had to had them have an eBay business they ran and ran the numbers and everything like that, understood it before they left the house, right? We homeschooled and all that type of stuff. And so now 4 of the 5 kids have their own business.
what great training.
And
What great training. Well, I would consider a great accomplishment that, and I appreciate that you went with family first because I have 8 children, all
whew,
my husband and I, 50 years of marriage, 8 children, all fabulous, productive adults out of the house. So, but you also put 5,000 one-to-ones in the
oh,
last 6 years.
and that's hard to say like it's an accomplishment because it's just what I do. Like when, like some people are just good at whatever it is that they're good at, it comes very natural to them. So that one I never look at as like this huge accomplishment. I just like, well, that's what I do, you know?
That's because that's your gift.
That's my gift.
And when
Exactly.
we are operating with our gifts, when we
Hmm.
are doing what we are made to do,
Hmm.
then it doesn't feel like it's anything.
It doesn't feel like work. Yeah.
Doesn't take because that's what you're made to do. So
Hmm.
yeah, I love that. I love that. So we kind of talked about it, but what makes you feel like you belong?
Um, okay, we talked a little bit about this answering this, but when I first began the whole connecting thing, I would do text introductions. And my favorite thing, I think I alluded to this earlier, was when they would go back and forth and set their meeting. And then later on, in the networking world, because back then we didn't do any online stuff, it was all in town, you'd see them again at a coffee shop. They're all, oh, thanks for that connection, or blah, 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 right? So me being a part of that introduction, which led to blank. Sometimes it led to someone getting a job because they're like, "Will you connect me to this gal?" And then she ended up hiring me. That was so cool. And then another time I hear this or that. It's just those stories afterwards of thank you so much for that introduction. And so that's what I love being a part of is the center of that.
Yeah, you've created you've created an environment, a community, obviously,
Connect.
connection, connector community, um, that you belong there and you're
Hmm.
very much a vital part of it. I can see how it's rewarding to feel the value that you're bringing to so many people.
And I want to pass that gift on to everyone else, everyone listening or anybody in the community. I want to teach everyone how to become their own connector in their own circle of influence. And then if we can do that, we can spread it faster. And that's why I also do the 3 get you free because I want tons of people. We have a big crazy goal. I'll just tell you, we want to get 1 million members inside of 5 years. And I really think it's going to happen because this is catching some fire. And I don't care about making a ton off of everybody. I just want to make that little bit and then have a huge network that people can succeed. Right? They can never say again, I can't succeed because we've made so many opportunity for you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, also, multiplication is a lot faster than addition, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, you did one-to-one for 5,000 interactions, but also you realize that that needs to be consolidated in small groups, maybe. And
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 oh
the
no, as I say, you're
magnification,
totally right.
yes.
Yep. And so that's actually what we do now. So maybe you'll put in I'll give you a link to put in your chat down here. Is we do connector tours now with as much as 10 people in there. And they're kind of cool because they've worked out really well because those people come in, they all get to meet each other. They get to see what we're doing, and then some of them join and some of them don't, but that's okay. We're just because we're looking for the people that are the right fit. You know what I mean? So,
Right. Well, that's really good. It's sort of like a test run to find out
huh,
what this is all about.
yeah.
And you don't want just everybody.
Hmm.
You want people that do have the same passion to help other people.
Correct. Collaborators and people that, yeah, see the vision of how do we help everyone rise? Because like Zig Ziglar, I'll just use that one. You help people to get enough of what they want, you'll get everything you want. Focus on them, not on you, and it'll happen, right? And so that's what we're trying to create here is everyone to look outside themselves and say, who can I help? Right.
Mhm.
So
Has this been a passion of yours for your whole life, or did you come to a point where, wait, I need to connect people?
I think once I was given the name about 6 years ago, I started to see I almost I imagined this. I saw it as a database. I'd go in and say, "Oh, you're a real estate agent. You need to meet all the home service people, and I know all these people and connect you." So I saw it in my head, but I couldn't put it together. But I would say the passion for connecting probably was because I didn't learn about business networking like this until 2018. That was the first time I was ever introduced to it. I always cold called. So I come from sales and I was just a cold caller. I literally was a door to door salesperson, telemarketer, car sales. So there's no relationships built in any of that stuff. So I didn't know anything about even this concept. But when I found business networking, I'm like, what? This is crazy. Like people will connect and then there's more and then more people will meet and then it just got exciting at that point. So
Well, so when you were a child, were you the friendly person that always gathered people around you, or has this been just a real transformation?
I think it's a transformation. And Ned, you mentioned that I was very, very all about myself for the longest time. And so I was a very transactional salesperson and a transactional person. But I've moved from that transactional person into a relationship person over the last 6 years. So now I look to build those deeper relationships in every area of my life. But I didn't have it. I learned to be transactional from the very beginning of my life, and that's how I was. But so if you meet somebody like that, it's not always their fault. It's because that's how they were taught. That was their environment. They weren't
Right.
taught to build deeper relationships. So
Right. I love it. This has been fabulous, and we do want to put in the show notes information about your getting in touch with your community and being able to take that tour and possibly join you, because we need more
mhm.
people to people connections, and people supporting people, people helping other people grow. The more that we get digital, the more that we get artificial. Hello, there's a clue. We want to be authentic, not artificial.
Right.
Do you have any parting words for our people before we go? Just your final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with people.
Um, I'm a huge optimist. You start a new program or whatever, I guess I would say to everybody listening, because they're probably business owners, every program that you start or every new idea that you have is going to take longer than you think. So just be prepared and just
That's
be in for the long haul because it's always going to take longer than you think.
Well, it's kind of like bamboo. How long does it take bamboo for all the roots to go and nothing is happening above the ground? And then all of a sudden, it's 7 feet tall, like in overnight almost. So
Yeah.
that is That's growing a business. That's
Mhm.
also developing relationships.
Correct.
Yes. All right. Well, Phil, the connector, Herrington, it's been fabulous to have you on the Here Where You Belong podcast. And to my belongers out there, stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember that you belong. Bye now.
Thanks for tuning in to Hear Where You Belong. We hope today's episode has inspired you to embrace the beauty of belonging in your own life. Remember, no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. Join us again next time for more insightful conversations and heartwarming stories. Until then, stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember that you belong.